Does anything tell you that Michael is cheating on Angela in any way?
I've got 160 pages of reports. To answer your question directly, no, there's not.
Okay.
Good.
I don't care. I don't care. You say talk. What are you doing there?
Take me back home.
That's the last time you'll say.
Y'all, for years, Angela Deem had Michael wrapped around her finger like a puppet on a string. What started as a whirlwind romance on 90 Day Fiancé turned into a toxic saga of control, manipulation, and secrets. Angela, with her firecracker temper and my way or the highway attitude, made sure she was always the boss, treating Michael like an afterthought. Folks were glued to their screens, both shocked and captivated, as her domineering ways overshadowed any hint of a real partnership. But honey, the drama you saw on TV was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, Angela's grip went even deeper, leaving Michael clueless about the mess she was brewing. When everything hit the fan, the courtroom became the ultimate battleground, with fans and media watching every twist. Angela, confident and sassy, tried to brush off the accusations, playing the devoted wife role. But as evidence piled up, honey, her confidence started to crumble. The court was bombarded with forged signatures, shady deals, and witnesses exposing Angela's dirty secrets. The knockout punch? Michael's lawyer dropped emails and texts where Angela bragged about controlling Michael's money. Her defense collapsed, leaving the court no choice but to see that Michael had been played and manipulated in their marriage. For years, Angela Deem had kept a tight grip on her marriage to Michael. What started off as a whirlwind romance on the hit reality show 90 Day Fiancé slowly unraveled into a relationship ruled by control, manipulation, and hidden motives. Angela, famous for her fiery temper and no-nonsense attitude, always positioned herself as the dominant partner, often putting Michael down and brushing off his opinions. Viewers were both fascinated and horrified as Angela's controlling ways overshadowed what should have been an equal partnership. But behind the scenes, Angela's control went even deeper than the arguments and explosive drama that unfolded on screen, leaving Michael completely in the dark. Angela had pretty much crowned herself the CEO of their relationship, making all the big decisions that would shape both their futures. She was out here signing contracts, handling the money, and locking down deals in Michael's name, all without him knowing or giving his okay. Her excuse? Michael's immigration status and his limited knowledge of the American legal and financial systems. She thought, or maybe convinced herself, that she was looking out for their best interests. But let's be real, Angela was really just looking out for Angela. She soaked up all the perks of their marriage, the fame, the money, and the opportunities that came with being a reality TV star. Angela controlled every aspect of their financial life, making sure she was the one raking in most of the benefits. Meanwhile, Michael was kept in the dark, his earnings funneled into accounts that only Angela had access to. She was out there signing endorsement deals, making public appearances, and cashing in on Michael's growing popularity, all while making sure he stayed quite a silent partner, more like an accessory than an equal. But Michael, even though he was patient and often played along with Angela's domineering ways, wasn't nobody's fool.
After an exhaustive study of you, look, I've got a 189-page report. Almost every single thing that's ever been mentioned about you on the internet. It took a staff of about 5 investigators to dig all the information up that we have. So if there's anything that you want to disclose, now would be a great time to do that.
No.
Michael started to sense that something wasn't right when all those promises of shared profits and joint ventures never came to life. The money he'd been hoping to save for his family back in Nigeria seemed to disappear like smoke. Angela's explanations got more and more sketchy, and whenever Michael had the nerve to ask questions, her temper would blow up. But the more Angela tried to shut him down, the more determined Michael became to get to the bottom of things. His suspicions were confirmed when he accidentally came across documents that exposed Angela's lies. There were contracts he'd never even laid eyes on, let alone signed with his forged signature. Accounts he couldn't access were sitting on piles of money. It became painfully clear that Angela had been using him, taking advantage of his immigration status and his lack of knowledge about American legal procedures to line her own pockets. Michael was hurt and felt deeply betrayed. Michael knew he had to make a move, but he also realized that going up against Angela wasn't going to be a walk in the park. She had connections, resources, and an ironclad determination to keep her grip on him. Still, Michael was driven by a strong sense of justice and a deep desire to take back control of his life. He sought legal advice and carefully gathered evidence of Angela's deceit and manipulation. With the support of his family and friends, Michael geared up for a battle that wasn't just about money. It was about reclaiming his dignity and self-respect. The court case that followed was nothing short of a dramatic spectacle, eagerly followed by fans of the show and the media. Angela, confident and defiant, initially brushed off the accusations as baseless. She tried to paint herself as a loving wife who had done nothing but look out for her husband's best interests. But as the evidence piled up, Angela's confidence started to crack. The court was presented with overwhelming proof, forged signatures, unauthorized transactions, and testimonies from witnesses who had seen Angela's manipulative tactics in action. The turning point came when Michael's lawyer dropped a bombshell, a series of emails and text messages where Angela blatantly discussed her plans to control Michael's earnings. She had bragged to friends about how she could make Michael do anything, and how he was lucky to have her managing his affairs. These messages painted a damning picture of a woman who not only manipulated her husband, but took pleasure in doing so. Angela's defense crumbled as the truth was laid bare, leaving the court with no choice but to recognize that Michael had been used and manipulated in what was supposed to be a relationship built on love and trust. Let me spill the tea about Michael. You know Michael, right? The one who's been that quiet, stoic guy on 90 Day Fiancé, always keeping it cool while Angela's been throwing her tantrums left and right? Well, guess what? All that calmness? It's been masking a storm brewing inside him. For ages, Michael's been the one taking all the heat, getting mocked, manipulated, and humiliated, just to keep that show spicy for viewers. And girl, TLC knew exactly what they were doing. They had Angela playing up the drama, making her even more fiery and downright nasty to him, all for those juicy ratings. They thought they had the perfect formula, Angela being a hot mess, and Michael just taking it. But here's the plot twist. No one saw Michael's done playing the part of the doormat. After yet another season of being made to look like Angela's personal punching bag, he's had enough. The guy they thought was weak and submissive? Oh honey, he's about to flip the script and it's gonna be good. The show's producers had dangled the allure of fame and wealth before him, but instead, he found himself ensnared in a relentless cycle of humiliation and exploitation. His earnings paled in comparison to Angela's, despite his pivotal role in the show's success. To make matters worse, TLC had actively encouraged Angela's aggressive behavior, incentivizing her with bonuses to intensify the drama between them. Behind the scenes, Michael repeatedly reached out to TLC, pleading for fair compensation and a more balanced portrayal of his story. Each time, he was met with hollow promises and patronizing reassurances that it was all just entertainment. But Michael saw through the facade. He knew the show was more than mere entertainment. It was shaping public perception, casting him as nothing more than a pawn in their game. The breaking point came when Michael discovered that TLC had been directly fueling Angela's behavior. A leaked email revealed a producer urging Angela to ramp up her confrontations with Michael, promising her a hefty bonus in return. This email was the smoking gun, confirming Michael's worst suspicions. He was being exploited, and the network was complicit in his mistreatment. Determined to fight back, Michael began searching for a lawyer who could take on both TLC and Angela. He knew the odds were stacked against him. TLC was a powerful network with deep pockets and a seasoned legal team. And Angela was no easy opponent either, with her own team of lawyers and a public persona that could easily sway opinion in her favor. But Michael was resolute. After consulting several law firms, he found a powerhouse attorney known for winning high-profile cases against formidable opponents. This attorney, renowned for his relentless pursuit of justice, saw in Michael a man wronged and committed to righting the injustices he had endured. Without wasting any time, he assembled a team of experts, investigators, media consultants, and financial analysts to build an airtight case against TLC and Angela. Their strategy was clear: prove that TLC had not only exploited Michael for profit, but had also actively encouraged Angela's abusive behavior to boost ratings. They would also argue that Angela had manipulated Michael for her own financial gain, both on and off the show, coercing him into signing contracts that unfairly benefited her. When the lawsuit was filed, it made headlines instantly. The media, which had often painted Michael as a passive participant, now portrayed him in a new light, a man standing up for his rights and demanding justice. Public opinion was divided. Some praised Michael's courage, while others sided with Angela, accusing him of being motivated by greed. TLC's response was swift and combative. They issued a statement denying all allegations, insisting that Michael's portrayal on the show was accurate and that Angela's behavior was entirely her own, not something they had encouraged. They even hinted at a countersuit accusing Michael of defamation and breach of contract. But Michael's legal team was ready. They presented damning evidence, including the leaked email and testimonies from former producers who had witnessed the behind-the-scenes manipulation. They also revealed financial records exposing the pay disparity between Michael and Angela. Despite their equal contributions to the show's success, the case against Angela was equally strong. The legal team demonstrated how she had exploited Michael for her financial gain, not just on the show but in real life, controlling his earnings and preventing him from accessing his rightful share. They provided documents showing how Angela had coerced Michael into signing contracts that left him with almost nothing after she took her cut. As the case unfolded, the balance of power began to shift. TLC, once confident of victory, started to feel the heat as public opinion turned against them. More and more people expressed outrage over Michael's treatment. Angela, once viewed as a fiery personality, now faced backlash for behavior increasingly seen as abusive and manipulative.
Take off my... Now, you know what? You will not. I repeat, you will not. Where's my goddamn presence at, bitch? You better get out my Georgia ass face. That's the... I'm gonna be...
Why are you doing this? You are just saying you
Get out my room.
Angela's attempts to drag him down had flopped, and it was finally time for him to move on with his life. As Angela stormed out of the courtroom, still hurling accusations and insults, Michael felt a wave of peace wash over him. He had fought hard for this moment, and now it was finally here. His life was his own again, and he was ready to start fresh. With the backing of his friends and family, Michael knew he could leave the past behind and look forward to a brighter future. But even as Michael moved on, Angela's rage was still simmering. She wasn't one to back down easily, and her battle wasn't over yet. In the days that followed, Angela kept the drama going, spreading rumors about Michael and trying to tarnish his reputation however she could. She popped up on talk shows, gave interviews, and even took to social media to vent her frustration with the verdict. But the more she ranted, the clearer it became to people that she was just a bitter, angry woman, struggling to accept her loss. Michael, on the other hand, embraced his newfound freedom with open arms. He dove into projects he'd put on the back burner for years, reconnected with old friends, and even started thinking about new relationships. The trial had been a major turning point for him, a moment when he realized he didn't owe anyone, especially not Angela, any proof of his worth. He had been vindicated, and now he was ready to focus on his own happiness and future. As the months rolled on, Angela's fury gradually faded into the background. The public grew weary of her incessant outbursts, and even her most ardent supporters began to question her motives. Meanwhile, Michael thrived. He was finally free to live his life on his own terms, without Angela's shadow looming over him. And Angela? She was left to confront the reality of her actions and the fallout they had caused. She had tried to tear Michael apart, but in the end, she only managed to tear herself down. Michael's legal squad made sure that this time he wasn't leaving empty-handed. The saga of Michael and Angela still gets folks talking in the 90-day fiancé world, a prime example of how relationships full of imbalance and games can fall apart when the truth steps in. Michael's path from being under someone's thumb to finally holding the reins is a true sign of how strong the human spirit is and shows just how crucial it is to stand your ground, no matter how tough things get. Thanks for tuning in.